The millionaire arrived home unexpectedly on a bright afternoon, the sun still high and unforgiving. And the first thing that struck him was the sound of laughter drifting through the marble hallway, light and unfamiliar. The kind of sound that did not belong in a house that had long felt like a museum of silence. Arjun Malhotra froze near the doorway, briefcase still in his hand, heart tightening as he followed that sound toward the living room, unaware that what he was about to witness would quietly unravel everything he thought he knew about loyalty, love, and what it truly meant to be rich. Before the story pulls you deeper, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Midnight Tales if you believe in kindness and second chances, because stories like this remind us why humanity still matters. Arjun had built his empire on precision and control, rising from a modest background to become one of the youngest self-made millionaires in the city. His days were spent in boardrooms and airports, his nights in hotel rooms that all looked the same, and somewhere along the way, his home had turned into a place he visited rather than lived in. The only reason the grand house still meant anything to him was his mother, Shanta, whose health had been declining ever since a mild stroke left her dependent on a wheelchair and constant care. Unable to be there himself, Arjun had hired a maid, a quiet woman named Mira, recommended by an agency, efficient on paper, invisible in his mind. That afternoon, Arjun had returned early from a business trip, exhausted and eager for a moment of rest. He expected the usual stillness, the low hum of air conditioning, the respectful distance that staff always maintained. Instead, he saw something that made him stop breathing. Mira was kneeling beside his mother's wheelchair, not working, not cleaning, but holding her hands gently, guiding them through slow, playful movements, her face glowing with a smile that reached her eyes. Shanta was laughing, her frail face alive with a joy Arjun had not seen in years, tapping her feet to an old melody, playing softly from a small radio nearby. For a split second, anger flared inside him, sharp and irrational. He wondered why the maid was wasting time, why she was touching his mother so freely, why this scene felt too intimate, too personal. His success had taught him to question everything, to assume the worst before trusting the best. But as he stood there unnoticed, that anger began to crack. He watched Mira adjust Shanta's shawl with care, wipe a tear of laughter from her cheek, and help her sip water patiently, never rushing, never looking at the clock. Arjun's mind drifted back to the last few years, to the countless times he had postponed visits, shortened calls, convinced himself that providing comfort was enough. He had given his mother the biggest room, the best doctors, the most expensive care, yet somehow missed the one thing money could not arrange: presence, time, warmth. And here was Mira, earning a fraction of his wealth, giving his mother something priceless. As the afternoon light poured through the tall windows, Arjun noticed details he had never bothered to see before. The way the house felt warmer, the way framed photographs had been cleaned and rearranged, the way plants near the windows looked healthier. This was not neglect disguised as duty. This was care rooted in compassion. Mira spoke softly to Shanta, encouraging her movements, celebrating small victories like lifting a hand higher or remembering an old tune. Each gesture carried patience, not obligation. Shanta finally noticed Arjun standing there. Her laughter softened into a peaceful smile, and she reached out toward him, her eyes filled with a quiet gratitude that pierced him deeper than any harsh word ever could. In that moment, Arjun understood the truth he had avoided. His absence had left a void, and Mira had stepped into it, not as a servant, but as a human being responding to another human's loneliness. Guilt settled heavily in his chest. He remembered how he had instructed the agency to find someone reliable, not caring whether that person had a heart, only that tasks were completed. Yet Mira had gone beyond her duties, choosing connection over convenience, kindness over indifference. He realized how close he had come to misjudging her, how easily wealth and authority could blind someone to goodness happening right in front of them. Days passed after that afternoon, and something within Arjun began to change. He started coming home earlier, sitting with his mother during daylight hours, watching how Mira involved her in simple routines, how she turned ordinary moments into reasons to smile. Arjun saw his mother growing more engaged, more alert, as if life had gently returned to her. He also noticed Mira's exhaustion, the long hours, the quiet dignity with which she carried her own struggles, never asking for more, never complaining. Arjun eventually learned about Mira's life, how she supported her younger siblings, how she had lost her father years ago, how caring for others had become her way of coping with loss. Her kindness was not performative, it was instinctive, shaped by hardship. This realization humbled him. All his achievements suddenly felt smaller compared to the silent strength of someone who gave love without expecting applause. As the sun dipped lower each afternoon, the house transformed from a place of echoing wealth into a space of shared humanity. Arjun began to understand that success measured in numbers meant little if it cost him the moments that truly mattered. He adjusted his schedule, delegated more, and chose to be present, not just physically, but emotionally. His mother's health did not miraculously recover, but her spirit did, and that, he realized, was a victory worth more than any deal he had ever closed. Near the end of one particularly peaceful day, as golden light filled the room, Arjun watched his mother rest comfortably, her breathing calm, her face content. Mira quietly tidied up nearby, unaware of the silent gratitude filling Arjun's heart. He knew then that what he had walked into that afternoon was not betrayal or neglect, but a lesson, a reminder that kindness often shows up quietly, without titles or bank accounts, changing lives in ways that money never can. If this story touched your heart even a little, take a moment now to like the video, share it with someone who needs a reminder of compassion, and leave a comment to support stories that celebrate humanity. And before this story ends, I have one special request for you. Please comment the word kindness below if you believe that small acts of care can change lives in the most unexpected ways. As daylight faded and the house settled into a gentle calm, Arjun felt something rare and profound settle within him. Not the thrill of success, but peace. He had arrived home expecting routine, and instead found a mirror reflecting his own shortcomings and a path toward redemption. In the presence of his mother's quiet joy and Mira's selfless care, Arjun finally understood that the richest homes are not built with money, but with hearts that choose to show up, even when no one is watching.